Okay, so we're diving into NFT marketplaces today.
Really gonna dig in.
We've got a ton of resources to sort through.
Yeah, a lot out there.
But for our listeners who are already, familiar with like,
The basics, NFTs, blockchain, all that.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to give them the real insider's guide
Help them choose the right marketplace. Yeah.
so they can actually, start buying, selling, really making things happen.
Because that's where it gets strategic.
Totally. So like, let's say I'm picturing myself on an NFT marketplace website, right?
Scrolling through, yeah.
What are the things that should like immediately jump out? The make or break kind of signals.
Ease of use is huge.
Okay.
I mean, a good platform, it's got to be intuitive.
Especially for like, someone who's new to all this.
Right, but still, you want powerful tools if you're experienced.
Right. So it's got to work on like multiple levels, I guess.
Exactly. Clear layout,
Yeah.
easy to navigate. Minting process has got to be smooth.
If you're a creator, that's key.
Absolutely, because who wants to spend hours just figuring out the website?
Yeah, total waste of time.
Get you to the good stuff faster, finding artists, listing your own work.
So ease of use, check.
Next, blockchain. Gotta be compatible.
Okay, now that sounds like tech jargon. Break it down for us.
It's more than that. It's like your costs
Oh,
and how fast things actually move.
transaction speed.
Right, so Ethereum, it's like the big dog, right?
Yeah, most established one I think I've heard.
But big downside, gas fees.
Oh, right.
Everyone complains about those.
Yeah, especially I feel like when things are really busy on the network, right?
Exactly. Peak times, forget it. Those fees are killer.
So what's the alternative then?
Well, a lot of the newer marketplaces,
Okay.
they're going with Solana, Binance Smart Chain.
Not as familiar with those.
Newer tech designed to be faster, cheaper.
Got it, but then it's like less established.
Trade-offs, right. Ethereum's got the name, but expensive.
These others are speedier, affordable,
Might not have the security.
or the same amount of users, right?
That too, yeah.
Okay, so we've got ease of use, then blockchain, which is a whole thing.
A big one.
But then you got to trust these platforms, right?
With your art, your money, everything.
Security, that's got to be up there too.
Huge. Absolutely huge.
How do I even know if a marketplace is taking security seriously? Like, what am I looking for?
First thing, two-factor authentication.
Okay, 2FA, yeah, I've seen that.
That's like baseline at this point. Extra layer of security on your account.
So they don't have that?
Red flag. Pretty
Yeah.
much. Then check for something called smart contract audits.
That's new.
It means independent experts.
Okay.
They've looked at the code, made sure there are no vulnerabilities.
Like hacking risks and stuff.
Exactly. No one wants that.
So it's like a security system, but for like code.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, don't underestimate just like good old-fashioned research.
User reviews, that kind of thing.
Yep. What are people saying? Has the platform been around? Do they have a good track record?
Transparency too, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they open about how they operate?
Huge. The more transparent, the better, usually.
Okay, so ease of use, blockchain
Yeah.
compatibility, security. Man, there's a lot to consider.
We're just getting started.
Okay, but let's be real. What's really at the heart of any marketplace?
What's being bought and sold?
Exactly. So are we just talking about like digital art here? Or is there more to it?
Oh, it's exploded.
Room.
Art was the start, sure. But now? Music, video clips, virtual real estate.
Virtual real estate.
Yeah, think like owning a piece of a virtual world
Wow.
and then creating cards, in-game items.
Oh, so like for your favorite online games.
You got it, stuff that gives you bragging rights.
Man, so it's like the whole world is becoming an NFT.
Kind of, yeah. Musicians are putting their music directly on there. Fans can invest.
Oh, wow. So instead of just buying an album,
You own a piece of their success.
that's huge.
It's changing the game.
Okay, so the type of NFT probably matters when choosing a marketplace.
Of course. Each platform, it attracts a certain crowd, you know?
So it's like specializing a bit.
Exactly, like NBA Top Shot. Only NBA stuff.
Oh, yeah, those are crazy popular.
But if you're like a digital artist making surreal landscapes.
Probably not the best fit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotta understand the niche.
Okay, so we've got the basics down. But now let's talk about actually comparing these marketplaces.
Head to head.
Yeah, like what are the real metrics that matter?
The stuff to base your decisions on.
Right, because we want to make sure we're getting a good deal.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just, window shopping.
Exactly. So where do we even begin?
First thing, Gotta look at the fees.
Transaction fees.
All of them can really eat into your profits if you're not careful.
Yeah, those hidden costs can sneak up on you.
Big time. So let's break it down and make it crystal clear.
Okay, lay it on us.
So usually 3 main types of fees to watch out for. First, minting fees.
That's for actually creating the NFT, right?
Yep, registering it on the blockchain.
Okay.
Some places, flat fee per NFT.
Makes sense.
Others, like OpenSea, they do lazy minting.
Oh, right. I've heard about that.
Don't pay until it sells.
Which is amazing for new artists.
Huge. Lowers the barrier to entry.
Experiment without breaking the bank.
Exactly. Then you've got platform commission.
That's the marketplace's cut, right?
Yep, their percentage of each sale.
And that varies.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay.
OpenSea, Rarible, they're known for being lower, like 2.5% usually.
Okay, that's good to know.
But then the more like curated platforms,
Super rare, that kind of vibe.
right, they can be way higher, like 15% even.
Wow. Okay, so that's a big difference.
Huge factor for creators, especially when you're starting out.
Definitely something to factor in.
And then, of course, those gas fees we talked about.
The Ethereum wildcard
Exactly. Can fluctuate like crazy. So even if the other fees are low,
could get slammed with a huge gas fee.
happens all the time. So yeah, gotta be aware of that.
Minting fees, platform commissions, gas fees, doc-ed. Got it. What else? What other metrics matter?
Liquidity is a big one, especially if you want to buy or sell quickly.
Okay, now that one I'm not as familiar with.
Think of it like, how easy is it to find a buyer?
Okay, so like how busy is the marketplace?
Exactly. High liquidity means lots of buyers and sellers.
More chances of a match made in heaven.
Exactly. High trading volume is a good sign.
Okay,
OpenSea, they're known for that. Massive selection, tons of users.
so if I'm looking for something niche, they're a good bet.
Probably your best bet, yeah.
Interesting. But I guess with that comes more competition.
Absolutely. Harder to stand out.
So like a smaller, more specialized marketplace.
Might give you better visibility.
Even if it takes longer to actually sell.
Exactly. Trade-offs, right?
Always trade-offs
That's why knowing your audience, like really knowing them,
is key.
hugely important. Niche NFT. Go niche platform.
Even if it's a little slower.
Could be way more effective.
Okay, so we've got fees, liquidity, anything else we need to keep in mind?
Well, we touched on security, but it's worth double-clicking on.
Because peace of mind is priceless.
Exactly. Especially when you're talking about, valuable assets.
Right? Like this is serious stuff.
It is. So you want to be sure that the platform,
Yeah.
that they're trustworthy.
So how do we judge trustworthiness in like the digital world?
Well, look at their track record.
Okay.
Have they had any security breaches? How did they handle it? What did they do after?
So it's like doing your due diligence
Exactly. And look, are they transparent
about their security mean.
about everything? Their team, their tech, how they do things.
More info, the better.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Okay, and what about the 2FA, smart contract audits, that stuff?
Yeah.
How important are those, really?
Non-negotiable, in my opinion.
Okay, strong stance.
Two-factor authentication, standard.
Like a double lock on your digital art vault.
Exactly. And those smart contracts, that's how all this stuff
That's
works.
the backbone, right?
Exactly. So you want those audited, make sure there are no weak spots for hackers.
Like having a building inspector come in and make sure the foundation is solid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hey, don't discount the power of like the community.
Word about.
Yeah. Are people talking about security issues or are they praising the platform?
Good point, because reviews can be super helpful.
Hugely helpful, especially in this space.
Okay, so we've covered a lot with security track record, transparency, 2FA, audits, community feedback. Phew.
It's a lot, but important.
Totally. But now, on to something a little more fun.
Okay, I like it.
User experience.
Yes.
Because what good is a super secure platform if it's a nightmare to use, right?
Totally agree. Got to be smooth, got to be intuitive.
Otherwise, what's the point? So break it down for us. What makes a good NFT marketplace user experience?
First and foremost, it's got to be clear.
Easy to understand.
Exactly. Even if you're brand new to this whole world.
Finding what you need, whether you're buying, selling, just looking around.
Exactly. No one wants to waste time trying to figure out where things are.
Exactly. So what am I looking for then, specifically?
Clean layout, clear labels, good search filters.
Okay, so I can find stuff easily.
And the whole process from making an account to, like, actually buying or listing something,
Whole flow.
it's got to be smooth, frictionless.
Got it. Make it enjoyable.
That's the key. Enhance the experience, not make it harder.
And what about minting? Because that's a big part of it for creators, right?
Huge part. And again, it should be easy.
Even with the whole blockchain aspect.
Even then, look for clear instructions, maybe some tutorials, good customer support. support.
Because nothing's worse than hitting a wall when you're trying to, like, share your work with the world.
The worst, it should be exciting, not frustrating.
Totally. And while we're on the topic of sharing your work,
Presentation.
yes, first impressions matter.
Huge, even digitally.
So what are we looking for?
High-quality images, good descriptions, even audio-visual stuff if the platform has it.
So it's like showcasing your work in the best light possible.
Exactly.
Make it
shine.
because a bad presentation can really hurt.
Totally. And finally, don't forget the community aspect.
Right, because it is a community, isn't it?
It is, and a strong one can make all the difference.
So what am I looking for?
Active forums, social media groups, maybe even events.
So you can connect with other people.
Exactly. Share tips, get feedback, find inspiration.
That's huge, especially when you're first starting out.
Or even if you're experienced, it's always good to connect.
Totally. So to recap, user experience, we're talking clarity, easy minting, good presentation, and a thriving community.
Nailed it.
Those are some solid guidelines.
Absolutely. And now, you ready to see how these apply in the real world?
Yes. Give me some examples.
Let's talk about some of the most popular platforms out there.
Let's do it, because I want to know who the major players are.
We'll cover it all. The giants, the niche ones, everything.
Perfect. I am ready to dive in.
Let's go.
All right, so we've talked about what to look for, the features, the factors, all that.
The lay of the land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now let's get into some actual platforms.
The fun part.
Right. So
Yeah.
I got to ask about the one everyone's talking about, OpenSea.
It's like the what do they call it? The 800-pound gorilla.
They kind of are, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is OpenSea so dominant?
It's the volume, man.
Just sheer amount of stuff happening.
Think of it like the New York Stock Exchange, but for NFTs.
Okay, I kind of get it, but break it down.
Millions of users buying, selling, all kinds of digital assets.
So if you want variety,
Yeah.
OpenSea's the place.
And liquidity, yeah, it's unmatched.
So you're saying they've got everything.
Pretty much. Art, sure, but also trading cards, virtual real estate, you name it.
Virtual real estate. Like, I can buy digital land.
Yep. And someone's probably selling it there.
That's wild. Okay. So it's huge, but that's not all, right?
No, they've also been really good at, like, the user experience side.
Making it easy to use even if you're new,
Exactly. They were one of the first with that lazy minting thing.
which, as we said, is huge for creators.
Game changers, especially starting out.
So they've got the stuff, they make it easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
What's the catch?
Well, they're on Ethereum.
Which we talked about can be a good and bad thing.
Double-edged sword.
Those gas fees, man.
Yeah. And because OpenSea is so big,
There are more transactions, so fees are higher.
they can fluctuate like crazy. One day it's nothing. The next, it's your life savings.
Okay, so that's something to watch out for. What about their cut, though? Their fees?
Actually, pretty competitive.
Really?
Yeah, 2.5% on sales, lower than some others.
Okay, so that's good, but then you add the gas.
That's the gamble.
All right, so OpenSea, it's the big one. Pros and cons. What's next? What's the opposite of OpenSea?
Opposite. Maybe super rare.
Oh, yeah, super rare. I've heard of them.
They're like the, what's that fancy auction house? Sotheby's.
Okay, so high-end exclusive.
Exactly. Super rare is all about, like, curated digital art.
Not just anything goes, like OpenSea.
No way. They're very picky about who they let on the platform.
So to sell there, you got to be, like, legit.
Pretty much. Established artists, often they have a following outside of the digital world, too.
So you're paying for that, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. Their commission is 15%. But you get what you pay for. They promote heavily, connect artists with serious collectors.
So it's more of a, like, long-term strategy.
If you're in it for the long haul and you've got the quality to back it up.
Makes sense? Okay. So we've got the mega marketplace, the art gallery. What else is out there?
Well, how about something a little more community-focused?
Okay. I like the sound of that.
Rareable's interesting. They're all about giving power to the users.
I've heard they have their own token, right?
Yeah.
RRI.
Exactly. That's how they do it. Holders get voting rights, platform changes, new features, all that.
So it's like democratically run.
Kinda, yeah. Decentralized governance.
I bet that attracts a certain type of creator.
For sure. And they've been good with adapting to new blockchains, too.
So not just Ethereum,
Nope. They've got Flow, Tezos.
thieving options.
Exactly. And their fees are pretty good, 2.5%.
Not bad at all. Okay, so Rarible, community run, blockchain flexibility.
They're definitely one to watch.
They are. Okay, now I got to ask about one more just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
NBA Top Shot.
It's a classic.
It's so niche, but so huge at the same time.
They really tapped into something, you know? owning a piece of a highlight reel.
Like the digital equivalent of a signed jersey.
Exactly. And they're on the Flow blockchain.
That's the one that's supposed to be good for, like, lots of traffic.
Exactly. Scalable, low fees, perfect for something like that.
Because when a new Top Shot drops, everyone's trying to get in.
Exactly. Ethereum would just like melt down.
So they were smart, picking the right tech for the job.
Absolutely. And it's worked out really well for them.
Yeah, they've exploded.
Yeah.
Okay, so NBA Top Shot, proving that niche can work.
Big time. Okay, one more. Got to rep the art folks a bit more.
Okay, lay it on me.
Foundation.
Oh, yeah, I like their style. Very clean, minimal.
They've got a very specific vibe, curated, high quality.
Not the place to go for, like, your random meme NFT.
Probably not going to find that there.
So what am I going to find?
Think like one-of-a-kind digital art pieces.
Really thought-provoking stuff.
Exactly. Pushing boundaries, challenging what digital art can be.
And it's invite only, right?
Yep. Got to be invited by an existing member.
So it's like they're building a community from the ground up.
Exactly. Shared values, all that.
Makes sense. Fees. Blockchain.
15% commission, so on par with Super Rare.
Okay, so pricey.
But again, you're paying for the curation, the audience.
And they're on Ethereum, right?
For now, yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
if that changes.
Could be a factor for some.
Definitely something to consider.
Okay, so we've got OpenSea, Super Rare, Rareable, NBA, Top Shot, Foundation.
Quite the range, right?
It's a lot. So with all these options, how does anyone actually choose?
The million-dollar question.
Because it's overwhelming.
It is, but don't worry, we've got you covered.
So we've seen the marketplaces, we've compared them, we get it. There are a lot of options.
Got a lot to consider.
So how do we actually choose? Like, where do we even begin?
Well, you got to start with, like, what's your main goal here?
Okay, back to basics.
Right, because are you trying to, like, put your work out there, be a creator?
Or are you more on the collecting side, building a portfolio?
Two totally different paths, right?
So that's got to be step one, figure out your lane.
Exactly. Then you can start narrowing down the choices.
Okay, so for creators, what then? Once they know they want to sell their stuff,
Think about your process, your style.
like how you actually create.
Exactly, because are you all about trying new things, making a ton of stuff?
Or is it more like one really amazing piece at a time?
Because that'll change what platform makes sense.
So someone who's cranking out NFTs, they're going to want something like OpenSea.
Probably, yeah. Lazy minting, massive marketplace, get those eyeballs.
But if you're making like really high-end limited edition pieces,
Super Rare, Foundation, that kind of vibe.
makes sense. Okay, so it's about matching your creative output to the marketplace.
Exactly. Find the right ecosystem.
And what about for creators who are really into the community aspect, the whole like decentralized thing,
Rareable's your jam then, for sure.
because they have the token, the voting, all that.
Exactly. It's about being part of something bigger.
And I bet some creators care about like the environmental impact too, right?
Definitely. And there are platforms that focus on that.
Using more eco-friendly blockchains.
Flow, Tessos, that kind of thing.
So it's about aligning your values with the platform.
Big time.
Okay, so creators, we've given you a lot to think about.
A lot to consider.
Now, what about the collectors? What should they be asking themselves?
I'd say first, what kind of collector are you?
Oh, interesting. Like, what's your style?
Exactly. Are you out there hunting for the hidden gems? Anything goes.
Or is it more like you have a specific focus, a niche you love?
Because that's going to change where you look.
So it's like, are you a generalist or a specialist?
Exactly. And then think about, like, what kind of experience do you want?
Because some of these platforms feel very different.
Totally. OpenSea is going to be overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking for.
Too much stuff.
Exactly. But if you love to browse, dig around, maybe that's your jam.
But if you're like, I only collect digital art, a specific style,
Head straight to Super Rare, Foundation, those curated spaces.
makes sense. Okay, so we're matching our collecting style to the platform's vibe.
And don't forget the technical stuff. Blockchains matter.
Right, because if you're on a budget,
Ethereum gas fees will eat you alive.
so do your research, look at the different options.
Solana, Flow, Tezos, all have their pros and cons.
Don't be afraid to experiment a bit. Try different platforms.
Exactly. See what clicks for you, what feels good to use.
Because at the end of the day, it should be fun.
It's about the journey.
It is, and this whole space is changing so fast.
Every day there's something new.
So be open to that. Be willing to learn and adapt.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. The community is a huge resource.
Right, because we're all figuring this out together.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Totally. Well, on that note, I think we've covered a ton of ground here.
We've really dug deep into these marketplaces.
So for our listeners, remember, there's no right or wrong answer.
It's about finding what works for you.
Do your research, explore, experiment.
And most importantly, have fun with it.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off.